What if I told you that the animal standing in that field, the one you've seen 1,000 times, is hiding secrets that have left scientists speechless? Not myths, not legends, real peer-reviewed, laboratory-confirmed discoveries that have completely changed how we understand one of the oldest companions humanity has ever known. A creature that can read your emotions better than most humans can. A creature whose heartbeat can literally change yours. A creature that may be capable of something scientists once thought only humans could do. This is not fantasy. This is the science of horses. And it is far stranger, far deeper, and far more extraordinary than anything you've been told. Stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you will never look at a horse the same way again. Let's start with something that sounds impossible. In the early 2000s, researchers at the HeartMath Institute in California began studying the electromagnetic field produced by the human heart. What they discovered was remarkable. The human heart generates an electromagnetic field that extends several feet outside the body. But here's where horses enter the picture. A horse's heart is, on average, 7 times larger than a human heart. In some thoroughbreds, it can weigh up to 22 pounds. And the electromagnetic field it generates is massive, measurable from several meters away. Now here's the part that changes everything. Studies have shown that when a human stands near a horse, their heart rate begins to synchronize with the horse's. Not immediately, not consciously, but within minutes, the two heartbeats start to fall into a shared rhythm, a phenomenon scientists call cardiac coherence entrainment. In other words, the horse's heart is influencing yours. This isn't a metaphor. This is measurable, repeatable science. And it explains something that horse owners and equine therapists have known intuitively for centuries, that simply being near a horse makes people calmer, slower, more present. Hospitals and therapy centers around the world now use horses specifically for this effect. Veterans with PTSD, children with autism, patients recovering from trauma. The horse is not just an animal standing there. It is, in a very literal sense, a living, breathing therapy machine, powered by the largest electromagnetic heart in the animal kingdom. In 2016, a team of researchers at the University of Sussex published a study that sent shockwaves through the animal science community. They showed horses photographs, not objects, not food, but photographs of human faces, some smiling, some angry. The results were clear and deeply unsettling. When horses saw photographs of angry human faces, their heart rate increased. They turned their heads to view the image with their left eye, a behavior linked to processing threatening stimuli in the right hemisphere of the brain. When shown happy faces, they remained calm. The horses were reading human emotional expressions from a still photograph. But the researchers didn't stop there. They showed horses a photograph of a person with either a happy or angry expression. Then, hours later, they introduced the horses to that same person in real life, now with a neutral expression. The horses remembered. The ones who had seen the angry photo were more cautious and more guarded around that person, even though that person was now perfectly calm. Horses were not just reading emotions in the moment. They were forming lasting social memories about individual humans based on facial expressions alone. This level of social cognition was once thought to be unique to primates. Now scientists have confirmed it exists in horses, animals whose brains evolved in open grasslands, not social trees. The question this raises is profound. If horses remember our bad days, what else are they keeping track of? Here is a fact that will disturb you if you think about it long enough. Horses almost never lie down to sleep. They can enter a light sleep state while standing, thanks to a remarkable anatomical feature called the stay apparatus. It's a system of tendons and ligaments in their legs that locks their joints in place, allowing them to doze upright without falling over. But the truly mysterious part is what happens when they need deep sleep, the kind that humans and most mammals cannot survive without. Horses do lie down for REM sleep, but only for short bursts, sometimes as little as 2 to 3 hours per day, spread across multiple brief sessions. And here's what makes this remarkable. They will only enter this vulnerable, lying down sleep state if they feel completely safe. If a horse senses danger or simply doesn't trust its environment, it will deprive itself of deep sleep entirely. Scientists studying wild Mustang herds have documented horses going multiple days without lying down, and within herds, there is almost always one horse that stands guard, remaining awake so the others can rest. The horse standing watch is not forced to do this, it chooses to. Sleep research has shown that horses deprived of REM sleep begin to show neurological symptoms similar to human sleep deprivation: confusion, erratic movement, sudden collapse. And yet somehow, horses developed a system that allows them to function on a fraction of the sleep most large mammals require. Science still doesn't fully understand how they do it. We know dogs have extraordinary noses. That's not news. But here is something almost nobody talks about. A horse has approximately 300 million olfactory receptors in its nose. For comparison, humans have around 6 million. In 2021, researchers confirmed that horses can detect the scent of human fear and stress, specifically cortisol, the hormone released when humans are anxious. When exposed to the scent of a stressed human, horses became noticeably more alert, more reactive, more agitated. When exposed to the scent of a calm human, they relaxed. They are literally smelling your emotional state. But it goes even further. Horses use scent to identify family members, recognize horses they haven't seen in years, and even detect illness. There are documented cases of horses reacting strongly to owners who later turned out to have early-stage cancers, behavior that mirrors what has been studied in medical detection dogs. The implication is staggering. The horse standing in front of you is reading a chemical biography of your entire emotional history, right now in real time, simply by breathing the air around you. This next discovery is perhaps the most important, and the most sobering. For most of recorded history, humans assumed that horses had a high tolerance for pain, that a horse standing calmly was a horse that was fine. Science has now completely dismantled that belief. In 2014, veterinary researchers at the University of Utrecht developed what is now known as the Horse Grimace Scale, a scientifically validated system for detecting pain in horses based on subtle facial muscle movements. Horses in significant pain often show almost no outward behavioral signs. They stand, they eat, they seem calm. But their facial muscles around the eyes, nostrils, ears, and jaw tell a completely different story. Horses, as prey animals, evolved to hide pain. In the wild, showing weakness means becoming a target. So, over millions of years, they developed the ability to mask suffering with extraordinary precision. The Horse Grimace Scale has since identified horses in chronic pain that had been misdiagnosed or labeled as difficult and uncooperative for years. Horses that were described as aggressive turned out to be horses in constant pain, unable to tell anyone, unable to stop hiding it. This raises a question that sits uncomfortably at the intersection of science and ethics. How many horses throughout human history suffered in silence, stoically, invisibly, while the people around them saw nothing at all? The final discovery on our list is also, perhaps, the most quietly extraordinary. Horses have long-term social memory that rivals, and in some respects may surpass, what we observe in most non-human animals. In multiple documented cases, horses have recognized humans they hadn't seen in over 10 years. They reacted with unmistakable signs of recognition: pricked ears, soft eyes, approaching behavior, vocalizations. Researchers found that horses store memories of individuals, their scent, their voice, their appearance, and critically, how those individuals made them feel, in a way that persists for years with virtually no reinforcement. You don't need to visit a horse regularly for it to remember you. One significant emotional experience can be encoded deeply enough to survive a decade. Horses that experience trauma with a specific person will show avoidance and stress responses to that person years later. Conversely, horses that experience genuine kindness will seek out that person long after the original relationship has ended. Scientists believe this memory system evolved because social bonds in horse herds are literally life or death. Knowing who to trust and who to fear over long periods of time is a survival advantage. Every interaction you have with a horse is being recorded, not in a brain that forgets, in a brain that was designed by millions of years of evolution to remember. A heart that synchronizes with yours, eyes that read your face and remember it for years, a nose that smells your fear before you've admitted it to yourself, a body built to hide suffering with perfect, practiced silence. Science has spent decades trying to understand the horse, and the more it looks, the more it finds something it didn't expect to find. Not just an animal, something closer. Something that has been paying far more attention to us than we ever paid to it. If this video changed the way you see horses, even slightly, leave a comment below. I read every single one. And if you want to go deeper into the world of these extraordinary animals, subscribe, because we are just getting started.